So, Bossy, I want to ask you, what does success in life mean for you?
Success in life means to me that I'm living in a way that I can be proud. Um, my future self will be proud.
Mm. Do you connect with your future self a lot?
I do. So I journal a lot. And just like I was talking about journaling about joy and journaling about my accomplishments. And then I go back and I read it. And I can see where I came from versus where I am now. And I can honestly say I'm feeling really proud. I'm feeling very it brings me a great amount of joy and pride, and being proud of myself means being proud of my community because goal crushing is a team sport, and I can see where so many people along the way are the reason I'm where I'm at right now.
Mm. I love that. And when did you know you were really good at what you do?
I knew it because whew, Giovanna, there's many things coming to my brain right now. How did I know? You know, I wish I could sit here and tell you that my inner mentor told me, but it was really there were folks saying when I would talk about things and it would seem very simple to me, or it would seem like knowledge everybody had, and I would see the look on people's faces like an aha moment. Those are the times that I knew. And that's why in my book, I interviewed and I did case studies from former clients. And my big question to them was, where were you before we worked together? What was the aha moment? And where are you now? And when I heard those aha moments, that's part of what started making my decision to do this full time because it's not even about me, it's about creating more opportunities for those aha moments for others.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Okay, love that. And can you describe a personal habit that contributes to your well being so that you can do everything you do in the world?
Oh, I'm a runner.
Mm.
So I'm like a 5:30, 6 a.m. runner, but recently I missed my morning run and I actually did a sunset run.
Oh,
And that was very relaxing and I was ready for bed. I'm really into all of my fitness and woo woo. Like I love acupuncture. It's
mm.
very helpful to kind of like calm the nervous system. And it's also one of the best naps you'll ever have. I don't know if you've done acupuncture
Yeah, yeah,
before,
I have. Yeah.
it's like, whoa, oh my goodness. It's so acupuncture, running, I do a lot of yoga, and I'd be remiss if I didn't say I love my ginger shots. Like, I'm
Oh,
gonna
yeah, yeah.
yes,
I
ginger shots.
love and I do a ginger and turmeric and, like, a tea. So, yeah, I'm right there with you. Uh,
Nice.
so what superpower did you discover you had only to realize it was there all the time?
The superpower I discovered, it was really the joy factor because I it came from my mom. And it's something I realized was the energy that surrounds me, and it was the reason people were starting to kind of, like, gravitate towards me and look to me for different advice, and I never really understood it until I talked more about it. And so the superpower was a joy, but then the amplifier for it was me being comfortable with it.
Oh, I
Mhm.
love that. So wait, why were you not comfortable with it before?
I think I just had no idea. I thought everybody was living like that. And so I guess it was more the comfort in naming it
Yeah.
because I thought everybody's living like this. But I now realize as a child, my mom was very intentional about protecting my joy and then also making sure that I had this understanding that I could do anything really.
Mm.
Like she never questioned ideas that I had. She was just very like, "Oh, that's interesting. Like, how are you gonna do it?" And I know because you do some coaching, essentially she was a natural coach. She would always ask, "How? How will you do that? What will it take to get there?"
Uh-huh.
And so I just had this curiosity that was cultivated within from a young age. And that's that superpower that I am so grateful for it.
Mm, I love it. And what came to mind when you were talking, I don't know how this is super related, but just being able to connect to that joy in these really difficult times that we're living in. Um, for people listening, we're in the United States of America. Like you might be in a different country or a different culture, but things are pretty tense here. And I think it can be really hard for people to stay in their joy. And the fact that your mom protected that, that's what I think that's what got me. It was like your mom protected that for you.
She really did, and, it's one of those things and you're right, I had to just it gave me a chuckle when you said the United States because we're struggling. We're struggling as a nation, or at least that's my thoughts on things,
Mhm.
and it can be very hard, and so for me, it's been so important to know there's this struggle, and I can also be a part of it, but I can choose how I'm a part of it.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that understanding my joy has given me more choice in how I live. It's given me more choice in how I move. And so during difficult times, I dig deep and I say, okay, if this is what I want to see in the world, what's one or two things that I can do?
Yeah.
Because I
That's
mean,
really
I'm hurting too. Like,
Yeah, yeah, and that's just so intentional and proactive and admirable because the other way to do it is to get totally overwhelmed and have a kind of a breakdown, right? Which a lot of people are doing as well. So I like that you're providing this other way and these tools that are so important. And so last couple of questions for you. What advice would you give your younger self, younger bossy, like early career? I don't know how old you are, but like, I don't know, 10, 15
yeah.
years ago.
So I'm in my 40s. So, 10, 15 years ago, I think I would have told myself to go for it sooner. I left Oklahoma just before my 40th birthday. But if I'm being honest, I wanted to leave long before that.
Mm.
I just didn't know what to do, right? And understanding that joy in finances is the biggest piece that helped me. So I would have had my younger self understand that I get to choose how I spend money and do it according to joy. Right. I don't know about you, but I was in a sorority. So when I graduated, there was a lot of money being spent on sorority sisters' weddings and all of this when I could have been spending money on my joy.
Mm.
You
Yeah.
know, I think that as a younger person, I wish I knew the word selfish is what I use sometimes. I wish I had been more selfish with how I spent so that it did align with my joy instead of what the world was telling me I should do.
Yeah. Oh, you're speaking my language. I have a whole thing on being selfish.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Listen, see, this is why we were meant to have this conversation. It's like everything sparks something, and I'm like, can we just keep talking?
I know, I know. I don't want it to end. And actually when your folks reached out to me, I get so many this is kind of a tangent, but I get so many pitches that I can't actually even read them all. But yours stood out, and we're figuring out why because we were meant to talk to each other. Um, okay, last couple questions. Do you identify as a feminist?
I do. I
And
do.
what does
Mhm.
that mean for you in your life and your work?
So, what that means for me is I want women to have what men have. Just treat me exactly like you would a man. Then it's all good. Like,
It seems so simple, right?
it's, it seems simple. And, that's all I want.
Yeah. Yep. I hear that. And then last question for you, Bossy, what are you reading right now? What's on your nightstand?
Oh, okay. So this takes me back, but I'm rereading. I read a lot. So I'm technically reading like three things right now. But I'm reading this book about the Disney principles. because it teaches a lot about hospitality and being welcoming, and I had read this at a job that I had in Oklahoma City. I actually worked at my church in Oklahoma City, and I was the director of welcoming ministries. And my pastor was big on creating a welcoming environment. And so as I'm growing my business, I'm actually going back to the roots of business that I learned from working at a church, which seems like an oxymoron, but my church was very fiscally responsible, so I learned a lot about finances there. I learned a lot about being imaginative there and being creative and taking feedback. So I'm going back to that book. I've also gone back to The Four Agreements by John
Mm.
Kralik. I
I
love that.
have that on my nightstand.
I read it at least once a year. I can't get enough of it. And then I'm reading a fictional book by a Nigerian author, Chioma Ngozi. Yes. And that's, yeah, it's all about her life. And for me, as half first generation Nigerian, I love reading from my culture.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Well, we'll put links to those books in the show notes because listeners always love to know what our guests are reading. And so we'll do that. And Bossy, it's been such a pleasure having you on the show today.
This was wonderful, Giovanna. Thank you so much for reading what my folks sent over and inviting me to be on the show with you.
Oh, I've loved it. Thank you so much.